Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. Speaking about the Juventus defeat. But obviously, we lost against Juventus. One of the worst performances of the season. I'm done talking about that. But obviously, we have found a few positives. I think maybe one of the few positives outcomes of that match was that Thiago Pinto is now searching and, has realized officially and finally that this team lacks the squad depth. And, after the match against Juventus, I have seen Thiago Pinto more proactive when it comes to the transfer market session. For example, Sergio Oliveira was set to come today. There were a few last things to talk about with Porto. It's a done deal, basically. He's arriving tomorrow in Rome. He's undergoing his medicals tomorrow and will be signing his contract. And AS Roma journalists here in Italy are saying that he will start the match on Sunday, which is absolutely great. So in this, Thiago Pinto has been, lately more, careful when it comes to the transfer market. And in fact, in today's live stream, I want to talk about Sokratis, which is the new rumor in the defensive section for Roma. I want to talk about Spinazzola's return, and I also want to conclude by speaking about the players who will leave Roma in the January transfer market session. Let's start with the first point, Sokratis. Definitely one of the things which Mourinho, the fans, the players themselves, Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins realized after this defeat is that conceding 3 goals in the space of 7 minutes is actually, there's something wrong with the defense. So I have seen, we have said Thiago Pinto more careful and more, close to the transfer market than he was before. And lately, there have been rumors of Sokratis Papastathopoulos, one of the hardest names ever. So I do think, unlike Sergio Oliveira, unlike Kamara, which we talked about and now is not going to happen, obviously, unlike many players, I'm not too keen about this. Or I should say, I have a feeling this is, if it was going to be, if it was going to become, I just want to say nothing is official right now. All I'm saying is that this is a rumor. So this is not, this is not the same situation as Sergio Oliveira, which is landing in Rome tomorrow. This is a rumor. So don't think he's close, This is just a thought of Thiago Pinto. What I think is, Thiago Pinto, if he comes to Roma and becomes a new Roma defender, I just feel as if Thiago Pinto rushed everything. He just wanted to give Mourinho a defender, and he rushed everything. Because there's a good balance between positives and negatives when it comes to this deal. But I do think the negatives, overweigh the positives in a way. I do think if this deal was gonna get completed, I have a feeling Thiago Pinto, Sokratis Papastathopoulos popped in Thiago Pinto's mind just because Roma needs a defender and there's a sense of, I need to give Mourinho a defender now. Let me rush everything. Let me pay, a little amount of money for a defender. Boom. Let's give Mourinho a defender. And that's a hazard. Because a player like, Papastathopoulos, who's 33 years old, one, might result in coming to Rome and, basically ending up injured for the rest of the season. Right now, at Olympiacos, he's having had a serious, amount of injuries. He's 33 years old, so buying him would literally mean giving him to Mourinho for a few months, maybe for 1, max 2 years, and then he's off because his career is gonna end. The only positive thing I can think about is the experience, which lately in the defensive section at Roma, it's definitely what we lack. Because as I said yesterday, Ibanez is such in a moron, is such in a weird state of mind. As I said before, I have no clue what he ate for Christmas. I have no clue where he's been for Christmas. But the second Cristante came back from the Christmas holidays, he's just bottling it every time. Smalling has the experience, but against Juventus, where was that experience? And Mancini is a hit or miss. So what Mourinho's asking is someone experienced to carry the defense next to Smalling, which lately, again, Smalling is a hit or miss as well lately. But I do think I just see the positive factor of this deal being him and his experience. Because we can say everything we want, but he's got the experience. He played for clubs like Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund. He has got the experience to play in a big club without feeling the pressure, and he's got the experience to play in international, tournaments such as the Europa Conference League, the Europa League if we were to get in one, But other than that, I don't see why Roma are pointing their eyes on this guy. He is too old. 33 years old. We have to think about young players. Obviously, young players don't have the experience he has, but I don't care. I'm more of a no than a yes, but obviously it's only my opinion on this. Everyone might think it in a different way, but my opinion on this is that Thiago Pinto is now in so much pressure after the defeat against Juventus, because possibly out of all the members which build this club, he is the player, not the player, he's the person being put on extreme pressure right now, because the fans realized that conceding 3 goals in 7 minutes is woeful. And the fans want something to happen from Thiago Pinto. So Thiago Pinto in these last hours is has been put in immense pressure. Look at him, closing the deal which brings Sergio Lara to Rome immediately. Sergio Lara is in Rome tomorrow, undergoing his medicals tomorrow, and will start on Sunday against Cagliari. After the defeat against Juventus, Thiago Pinto had a sort of, I need to do something. I have to do something. So, and I feel like the output of Thiago Pinto being on a lot of pressure is him rushing stuff, which is not that good, because rushing, feeling as if you need to give a player to Mourinho doesn't mean, okay, let me get the first person who pops in my mind. I might pay him 3 million euros, which is not much at all. Let me get a defender. Let me give him to Mourinho, and my pressure is over. I've done my job. Mourinho is gonna, I can really have difficulties in thinking Mourinho asked for this guy. I cannot believe Mourinho asked for him. And once again, you need to follow Mourinho's directions, because he is the guy who needs to direct the players. And also another bonus of this, maybe the second positive note of this, is the cost. But obviously for someone who's 33 years old, who's submerged by injuries, who plays in the league in Greece, his value right now is 3 million. The cost wouldn't be a problem, but the problem is more of age and that kind of stuff. So I'm a no for this, but you guys might think it, in different ways. Now, I'm done with Sokratis. Let's talk about, let's continue with the transfer market. Let's talk about the players who are going to leave Roma and who are about to leave Roma, because we have got quite a few players actually, which Mourinho called off, which Mourinho needs to give away. But I'd say, 75% of these players would go away on a loan and not on a permanent deal. The only 2 players which I think might go on a permanent deal would be, I should say, Villar and Borja Mayoral. Now, seeing that we have, it's January, February, March, April, and May. Seeing the fact that we've got 5 months until the end of the season, giving Borja Mayoral away, even though he's a Real Madrid player, would be absolutely useless. I know Mourinho loves Shomurodov, and you guys know I don't like Shomurodov, and I much prefer Borja Mayoral. But, removing Borja Mayoral from your team means is a massive hazard. Because we can all agree that Borja Mayoral has a massive, sense of scoring more than Shomurodov. Second of all, Borja Mayoral has more experience than Shomurodov. So getting rid of Borja Mayoral in January, first of all, I don't think Roma will buy any strikers in this January transfer window. Second of all, if Tammy is injured, you're stuck with Shomurodov. Trust me, I'm nothing against him. You do not want to be stuck with Shomurodov being your first option. I would much rather have Borja Mayoral instead of Tammy if he's injured. And lately Tammy's been, he's been getting more injuries. So I am totally against giving Borja Mayoral away. I'm totally against giving Villar away, but unfortunately I'm not Mourinho. Mourinho is Mourinho, and Mourinho has actually, ruled him off. He's not in his plans. I think Villar has some talents, has some capacities. I would keep him. Maybe I would loan him out and then bring him back in. But selling Villar, I'm against it. Mourinho's, for it. But selling Villar is another. Villar is close to joining Spanish leagues, Spanish teams, not leagues. Villar, Sevilla and Celta Vigo are all interested in him. Speaking about the Spanish league, Diawara, who's now at AFCON, as well as Darboe, Valencia are interested in Diawara, and Anderlecht are interested. Anderlecht and Tottenham Hotspur are both interested in loaning Darboe out. Darboe is a player which we can't afford to sell because, he's a young, promising player. But loaning him out, I'm totally for it. I think he needs minutes in his legs. And with the minutes that he could get in a club like Anderlecht, he could then come back to Roma and improve. And speaking about loans, we've got Calafiori, which is one step away from joining Cagliari now that Maitland-Niles has joined AS Roma. There are a few sort of... At the end of the At the end of the deal which brought Maitland-Niles to... At the end of the agreement, there were just a few... it slowed it down because there were a few disagreements between Arsenal and Roma. And Roma were about to let Calafiori go, but then they wanted to wait Maitland-Niles to come to Roma officially. And now that he's a new Roma player, Calafiori is one step away from Cagliari, which is a team which, needs to fight for relegation. And once again, Calafiori is not getting as much minutes in his legs. He's a young player. Loaning him out might be the best option. And the last thing about the transfer market is Kumbula. Fiorentina are interested in Kumbula. And that's basically it. Now, last topic of today's live stream is Spinazzola. Because, Spinazzola, I remember that a few months ago, I think it was October, back in the 6th grade, back in the days, I remember saying that Spinazzola would be back for the 7th of December against CSKA Sofia. Well, the doctors were wrong. We're totally wrong because Spinazzola is was nowhere near getting back playing the 7th of December. Spinazzola in these last couple of weeks has continued. Talking about Spinazzola, during the end of November, he's starting, training back with a ball by himself. And now, towards the end of January, in about a few weeks, Mourinho is expecting Spinazzola to get back training with his teammates. Now, obviously, Spinazzola will need time to readapt because, he was one of the best players at the Euros, but breaking his Achilles tendon was it was disastrous. So he needs time, to readapt as well. But the second Spinazzola's back fit, Vigna will definitely be dropped because you can't compare the two players. One is clearly better than the other. And, now, in these last couple of days, Spinazzola has went back to Finland where he had his operation done. He's spoken with his doctors which operated him. And the doctors say that his debut should be around the start of February. And us Roma fans should see Spinazzola back playing at the Stadio Olimpico the 6th of February against Genoa at home. Now, would Mourinho take the risk to start him immediately? That's something to talk about. But obviously against Genoa, it's a match which we expect to win. And, maybe trying Spinazzola against a team like Genoa could getting back, to get the rhythm in his legs. But obviously, doctors are estimating that, Spinazzola will be back around the 6th of February. I'm reading breaking news. Villar is one step away from joining Getafe. I'm reading this 4 minutes ago on an AS Roma newspaper. Villar is basically one step away from joining Getafe in La Liga. Now, just let me read if this is a loan or not. It doesn't talk about a loan. I assume it's a permanent deal. I'm not sure about it, because I think Villar had some talents, especially with Fonseca, but I'm not the manager. Mourinho is. If Mourinho doesn't like him, basically now Villar is no longer a Roma player, because the deal is about to be closed in the next hours, which brings Villar to Getafe in La Liga, which is another team which needs to fight for relegation, so Villar can help them. Right, how is Roma doing? In the transfer market, if you mean, in the season, the season you probably know. I don't want to talk about the match against Juventus anymore. I'm done with that. Transfer market, Thiago Pinto's trying his best, but, this guy, Sokratis, in my opinion, wouldn't be the best option. We need this kind of experienced player. Hopefully, his leg's not made of glass, like Smalling. And speaking about that, lately, I've been reading that he's always injured at Olympiacos, which is another bad factor, at least. He will give Mourinho options, says AS Show. Right, lads and lasses. Tomorrow, it's the Sergio Oliveira day. He is set to land in Rome, undergo his medicals, and sign his contract. And everyone is saying he is going to start against Cagliari on Sunday. And Cagliari are playing tonight, so against Bologna, which obviously they need to fight for relegation, which is a must-win match. Sergio Oliveira to start on Sunday. Veritu or Cristante to be dropped, in my opinion. I can't see Pellegrini, Mkhitaryan, or anyone else up there to be dropped instead of him. Veritu lately has been absolutely appalling. So I guess Veritu will be dropped on Sunday for Sergio Oliveira. So he's set to come to Rome tomorrow. Tomorrow live stream is all about that. And then we'll slowly prepare for the match against Cagliari on Sunday. If you're new here, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, takes 2 seconds, and it supports all of us so much. Get this number closer and closer to 2,000 subscribers. Like this live stream as well, as soon as it becomes a video. Comment in the comments of the video your impressions, and follow me here, over there, that yellow box, on Instagram at _the Simon Show. DM me, and we'll talk about Roma, we'll talk about football in general, and we'll talk about wherever you want. So DM me and follow me there, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Simon out.